Yeah, here. Have your blue Pikachu, you fucking heathens.
This podcast is hardly focused.
The French.
I don't know. I've fallen off the Pokemon bandwagon. It's just, to your point, they have not lived up to where I wanted them to be. You know, first games are great. Don't get me wrong. It's not the fact that there's like 20,000 Pokemon now that really, you know, they're just taking like everyday objects and turning it into a Pokemon now.
Yeah.
But it's just like, they didn't add enough new stuff. You know, they honestly, I feel like Pokemon kind of peaked in Gold and Silver.
I agree.
I know that's like, I mean, maybe it's just because I'm old, you know, but like, you know, Pokemon Go was fun. It was fun, but it wasn't a Pokemon game. It was like a collected game.
So I 100% agree with you. And I think that was around the time that we in our age group lost interest in Pokemon. And Pokemon itself never really had a lull. It's still popular today as it was in the late 90s, but Gold and Silver came out right at the end of, I think, our general interest in it, and then we all moved on. But you're right. I do think it peaked. After that, it was. I think after that, it was just the addition of 100 extra Pokemon. That just, I think that was just too much in my opinion. Because I've been playing on my, now it's been a while since I played it, but the Game Boy that I rebuilt, I was playing Pokemon Crystal on it, which is it's like it's Gold and Silver, but it's that generation's version of Yellow, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And even then I'm like, I don't even know this game's like 25 years old and I don't know how half these Pokemon are.
Oh my gosh. I remember the Nintendo Power articles that would mention potential for Crystal and how it was going to include a phone and a phone plan so you could battle across, pre-internet, good internet days. Like you were going to be able to hook your Game Boy to a phone that Nintendo would kind of just pay for you, or maybe there was going to be a subscription. Who the heck knows?
Oh my God.
You're going to be able
to
battle Pokemon over the phone.
Oh, wow. Core memory unlocked. Wow. Yep. Kind of on that note, a couple of new Pokemon games were announced, and one is it's another Legends entry, which I guess like the previous, I think this is the second Legends game they've done. I guess the previous one, Arceus, was really good. This one is it's based on X and Y, which are 10 years old now. I can't believe that. So to the point of Gold, Silver, and then Crystal, the rumor was that when X and Y came out, then there was going to be Pokemon Z, which was going to be, the spin-off with extra stuff in it. And it never materialized. Well, now this new Legends game is called, I think the full title is Pokemon Legends Z to A. So it's for all intents and purposes, it is Pokemon Z, but it's like a prequel to Pokemon X and Y. So there's that. And then they also announced a mobile game that is it's going to be like Pokemon Go, but it's the trading card game.
Okay. Yep.
And I didn't know this. So on the back of the Pokemon cards, you got the Pokeball on there. I didn't know that in the center. So the center of the Pokeball has the button on it. Now, I guess it's in the wrong spot on the Pokemon cards, and they've still been printing it that way to this day.
Interesting.
Where it's supposed to, the button's supposed to be on the red half.
Okay.
And on the cards, it's on the
gray.
It's on the gray half.
Interesting.
Yeah. So with the game that's coming out, the mobile game that's coming out, on the back of the digital Pokemon cards, they finally corrected it. But it sounds like they don't want to correct it on the physical cards because that would...
well, I mean, just think about it from like a... You wouldn't be able to use any of the old cards, right? Because you could use that almost to like you got a deck of cards, you're only seeing the back of the cards. If that the Pokeball is going to be or the button's going to be on one side or the other, you can be like, yeah, my fucking trap card, go Yu-Gi-Oh style. My trap card over here is, got the old style, and all the rest of the cards got the new style.
So long ago in the just like early 1900s or like 1910, whatever, there's a very well-known postage stamp that's got the Wright brothers plane on it, like, the original airplane. And there was a printing error and the plane is upside down. And that stamp, like if you can get your hands on one of those stamps, it's like worth an insane amount of money. So what they should have done with the Pokemon cards is like, if say they print like a batch of like 5,000 of them and the Pokeball is not designed correctly, those alone could have racked in a lot of money if you had your hands on one.
Yep.
Because even then, like like, you know, like a holographic, was it like a holographic Charizard, I think is like one of the.
Oh, like the Shadowless first gen or whatever.
I had a Mew card and I thought that was, you know, going to be worth a lot of money. And I guess it's not.
The Mew from the first movie, if you got it sealed, is worth like $20, I think, something like that.
Damn. Okay.
I got a couple of them just floating around.
I remember when you introduced me to the Mew trick, Pokemon Blue and Red.
Yep. I tried so many different Mew tricks back in the day. Like that was just like what a beautiful age of the internet where like just like wildly incorrect rumors were everywhere on the internet. It's like, oh, you got to go over here. You got to catch all 150 Pokemon and then do X, Y, and Z. You got to, you know, move the truck on, you know, Cinnabar Island or whatever. Like, and, you know, and eventually it just became like, okay, well, if you just move over here, go over here, do this X, Y, Z, you'll actually change the game memory to make a Mew encounter. Yeah. And the Nugget Bridge, you
had to trick the pause screen. Yes. You had to break the pause screen. You had to like fly at the right moment and then the pause screen wouldn't work anymore. But then that was the, I think that was the, because didn't you have to like reboot the system too or something like that? And that
would trade. So I think you had to trade a flying Pokemon first. So you had a Pokemon fly and then you had to like, or go through the game until you got fly, which I don't think a lot of people wanted to do. And then you had to, because you couldn't have beaten, I don't believe you could have beaten Nugget Bridge first. I don't know. It's been a long time, but that was like, you know, several steps.
Yeah. So there's ScreenRant.com, Pokemon Red and Blue's biggest playground rumors. And the first one is the rumor that Mew can be caught in Pokemon Red and Blue. So that obviously is true. What's nice about Mew too is that it's basically Ditto and can learn any move, any TM and HM.
Soft boiled is the best thing to teach it because it's the only other recovery move that you can teach. And normally only Chansey knows it, except for Chansey and Mew.
See, I always thought my Venusaur, you could get really OP on it because you could do sleep powder and then the, was it leech seed?
Yes.
So you put it to sleep and then just seed it. And that was, because it was basically like it's a loop. It's a never ending loop.
Right. Yeah, as long as you got a Pokemon out that can like take damage, then that's just going to constantly wear him down. I did the exact same thing with Executor.
Nice.
I enjoyed Executor because for whatever reason it was like a plant Pokemon that was also psychic. So normally plants were like, you know, super effective against psychic, except for this guy. So it could take some hits from like other Pokemon that you wouldn't expect it to.
Peekaboo being a secret in Red and Blue.
Yes, that's right. But they eventually, Meryl kind of eventually became. I think it was because. So Meryl was in the game files. If you scraped the Red and Blue game files, I do believe it was like somewhere in there. I could be wrong. That could be another playground rumor for all I know.
Okay, Meryl. Yeah. Well, that's basically Peekaboo.
Exactly. So people called it Peekaboo because they didn't know the name Meryl. And then I think in like maybe Gold and Silver, this one they like 150 different bird species types. Instead, you learned this.
I could have.
You're a disappointment, son.
The rumor that players could battle Professor Oak.
That would have been cool if that was the case.
That would have been cool. There was a rumor that Yoshi could be caught.
Yeah, that's in every. Yoshi has been an Easter egg in a lot of those Game Boy games.
Like Link's Awakening.
Link's Awakening is a perfect example. Yep.
I just beat that for the first time, I think last year, maybe the year before, the Switch version.
Yep.
I have the original, but now, I've played the Switch version, so I don't know. Why would I go back to the original, But I liked it. I really liked it.
It was a good game. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It definitely was. It was so good on the Game Boy for its time, too. It definitely, like, one of those few games on the Game Boy that truly, like, feels like it's a full, like, you're in this world kind of deal,
It was also originally conceived, I believe, as just sort of like a side project that the developers were just kind of working on after hours, and they didn't mean for it to be anything serious. And then I think Miyamoto and other executives saw what they were working on. I was like, this is brilliant. Make this a full thing. This is great. Pressing buttons to raise catch rate in Pokemon Red and Blue is false. I don't care. I still smash B.
I was gonna say literally the B button every time.
I still smash that.
I have it.
MissingNo is a glitch Pokemon that can corrupt the game. Yes.
Yep.
Don't save. Don't catch it and save
100% have a glitched Pokemon Hall of Fame on my red version.
Nice.
That.
Nice.
Although I'm sure it got wiped at this point because the battery hasn't been changed in Lord knows how long.
Yeah, that's it's still a moment that I'm very regretful of when I destroyed my copy of Pokemon Yellow on the Yak and Jack show, and Kate was like legitimately in tears.
Why would you destroy that?
I was mad because I loaded it up. I got to the Elite Four. I beat the game, and then the battery was dead, so it wiped everything. And I was mad.
That's how my red version. So I had 2 versions of red. The first one did exactly that. It died right after the Elite Four, and I never loaded it up. And I thought that's just how the game went. I thought it was like, oh, once you beat the Elite Four, like the game's over. You have to start from scratch.
Right.
But then it never saved again, and I was like, what the hell? And I was like, wait, you mean you were supposed to like keep going? And and obviously you need to beat the Elite Four to get Mewtwo. And I was like looking everywhere. I was like, how do I get Mewtwo? How do I get Mewtwo? And they're like, oh, you got to beat the Elite Four. I'm like, I did beat the Elite Four. And then the game resets. And then they're like, no, dude, the game doesn't reset. Like, it just puts you back in the beginning of the town. And I was like, no, dude, my game's reset. Like, I got to start over, go through the Professor Oak thing. And they're like, yeah, your game's broken, bro. I was like, oh, shit. I got a second. Instead of getting the blue version, I got the second red cartridge.
It reminds me of this. I think I saw it on Reddit somewhere. Someone was like, I was stupid as a kid and didn't know you could save your game in Pokemon Blue, Pokemon Red. So like I would play, and every time I play, I would start over from the beginning, and I would play for as long as I possibly could to see how far it could get. And then would turn the Game Boy off, turn it back on, and like start all over. And someone's like, dude, you can save your game. So you don't have to go through this torturous process. There comes to be a point, unless you have it plugged into the wall.
I was going to say, Mom, don't turn off the PlayStation. I'll have a memory card.
Yeah, you're going to hit a point where you'll physically not be able to go any farther because you run out of battery. But so my Pokemon Blue, I'm all but convinced that my parents like took it and threw it away.
Wouldn't be surprised.
Because when I came out, I mean, it's exactly what they were afraid of, but I was just addicted to it. And I guess, a warning for you when Casey gets a little older. But, I really wanted a Game Boy. They said no. My grandparents spot me one for my birthday with Pokemon Blue. My parents were pissed. So I got to enjoy it for, I don't even know how long, a few months. I remember beating the Elite Four. I remember doing the MissingNo trick. I think I saved. I don't recall like any immediate corruption. It was the last thing I did.
Right.
And I remember giving myself 100 Master Balls. And then I think like I was only allowed to play on the weekends. So like the following weekend rolls around. I come home from school on Friday and I get my Game Boy and I can't find my Pokemon Blue. And my parents are like, oh, I don't know, maybe you lost it. And I was never able to find it. And this is probably going to be a deathbed admission from one of them, but I'm pretty sure they took it and threw it away.
Yeah, they 100% did. They looked at that and said, now's our chance. Get rid of it.
Like, what a shitty thing to do. Don't do that to Casey. Please don't do that to your kid.
You mentioned Master Ball on the first playthrough I went through. I thought the Master Ball could catch, because it did say catches any Pokemon. I was like, great. So I tried to catch a trainer's Pokemon, and they'll just smack the Pokeball away. It doesn't matter if it's a Master Ball or anything. So I wasted my Master Ball. And it didn't dawn on me to like turn off and not save or whatever. So I was just like going through the game like, oh, I guess that's the end of that.
I thought you were going to say like you caught a Magikarp with it.
Nope. It would have been more useful than trying to catch a trainer Pokemon and catching nothing.
See, I always capture, no matter what the game is, I capture a Magikarp and then I just grind it and level it up. So it becomes is it Gyarados it turns into?
Yeah, first Pokemon that comes out and immediately swap it for something else.
Yes. And then, or you do the XP share that you can do in the later games. And always ends up being super OP. And then I just laugh at everybody. I'm like, who's laughing now? You might.
Although you can get the red one in Gold and Silver, I believe. So.
A red Gyarados?
Shiny, bro. It's a shiny Pokemon.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But it's like one of the only ones that's like always there.
Okay.
It's not like a super low like I only have one other. I have shiny Onyx.
All right.
And it's like random. Like you just find it and then like the little stars go. Still remember it in my mind because I got super excited when the Onyx one happened and I was like, Mom, Dad, and they're like, we don't care.
I'll have to check my Sword and Shield playthrough to see if I have a shiny there. I feel like I do.